right, today we are going to graph linear equations. First, we're going to start with using a table, and then I'm going to show you how to do it without having to use tables. All right, why do we need to know this? Because you need to be able to graph y equals negative 2x plus 2 without using a table. We don't walk around. So what I did was I started and went ahead and put the equations written down in my tables. If you want to take like 30 seconds and do that real quick, you can. All right. Sometimes tables can have more than 3 ordered pairs, but 3 is really all you need to make an accurate straight line. Normally, you always want to choose at least one negative, always have a 0, and then one positive number. Then what we do is we go back to our equation and we plug in for x the numbers that we chose. So I'm going to plug in negative 1. So remember, that's multiplication. So it's 2 times negative 1. Yep, negative 2 minus 3 becomes a negative 5. And that makes your order pairs, negative 1 and negative 5. Remember, x tells you which way to go left or right, y tells you which way up or down, in case you forget how to order. Then we just go on to the next ones. Plug in 0. 0 times anything is? 0. Minus 3? Negative 3. So our next order pair is 0 and negative 3. Last one. Plug in a positive 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 3. Bob. So we get a negative 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take those order pairs. We're going to graph them on the graph below. And we're going to identify some important information. So the first order pair is negative 1 and negative 5. So we go left 1 and we drop 5. So that's my negative 1 and negative 5. You don't have to label them. I'm just doing that so you know where my numbers are coming from. Next one is 0 and negative 3. And that's an important one. This is when we cross our y-axis. And that's also known as our y-intercept. So where it says y-intercept, put negative 3. You know it's your y-intercept because that's when x is 0. Or whatever the number is that you cross, that's where you're at. Okay, then we got 1 and negative 1. So that tells me to go right and down. So right there. Next step, make your line. And then we're going to find our slope. All right, try to do the best you can. If you got rulers, use them. Remember, go all the way through. Don't just stop at the dots. And then put arrows at the ends. How we know it's linear, because then it tells us it goes on and on and on and on. Last step, find our slope. What's our 2 words for slope? Rise over run, and we always run to the right. So, how far do we go up? How far do we go over? How far do we go up? How far do we go over? 2, 1. So, does that make simplify to a number? 2. Just 2. You can simplify, always do so. All right, that's 1 of 4 on the first page. All right, continue. Okay. Questions, concerns? All righty. Next is a negative x plus 4. What number is technically in front of that x? 1. Yes, our negative 1. So that's a negative 1 right there. Choose a couple numbers. Give me a negative number.
3.
Negative 3. Always have a 0. And then let's say 2. It doesn't always have to be negative 1, 0, and 1. All right. So plug in. What is negative 1 times negative 3 plus 4? 2 negatives make a positive 3. So 3 plus 4, 7. Unfortunately, that is not one that we're going to be able to plot on our line. Our lines only go up to 6. We can estimate where it'll be. All right. Negative times 0 plus 4. Well, that makes 0. What's 0 plus 4? So that's our next order pair. That's your y-intercept. All right, so if you want, scroll 2 down. You can put your y-intercept is 4. I'll make sure you guys can see everything later. All right, a negative 1 times 2 plus 4. Well, that makes negative 2 plus 4. What's negative 2 plus 4? 2. 2. 2, 2. And then we plot our points. So like I said, we can't really do the negative 3, 7. That would be like up here somewhere. So now 0 and a positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And then 2, 2 is right here. I'm estimating where my line's going to go so I know where to draw. All right, take a ruler and draw your line. Someone running? All right, pass for someone. All right, so now we got to find our slope. All right, we can use the 2 order pairs they gave us, or you can use other order pairs if you see it. All right, if I use the 2 order pairs we made, I go down. So what does it mean if I go down? Is that positive or negative? Negative 2 over 2. What does that reduce to? Negative 1. Negativo 1. Give you a moment to catch up. And now we're going to go down to the next one. Do you feel confident enough? You go ahead and start the next one.
Okay. Can you put random numbers?
So the next one a fraction. Yes. Use negative 1, 0, and 3.
How do you know what number to put?
I'm going to tell you on this one.
Alright. Negative 3 or positive 3?
Positive 3. Alright. So when you have fractions, they're not very friendly. So if I use negative 1, that's negative 2/3 times negative 1 minus 1. That's like saying 2/3 minus 1. You get a negative 1/3. Is that a nice one to plot? Do you have a 1/3 line? No. Okay, so negative 1 and a negative 1/3. Like, yeah. And then always 0. 0 is a must because that tells you where your y-intercept is. Anything times 0 is 0. And what's 0 minus 1? Negative 1. Now, when I see fractions, I look at my denominator. What's my denominator? 3. So I'm going to use that here. So negative 2/3 times 3 over 1 minus 1. The reasoning, remember cross reducing? Those cancel out. So you really have a negative 2 minus 1. Oh, it's negative 2 minus 1. Nope. Negative 3. Keep change. You need 2 nice points to plot a line. It only takes 2 points to make a straight line. 3 points to make a more accurate straight line. All right, so we're going to plot those points now. So if I did -1 and -1/3, it'd be like right there ish. 0, -1, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right there's my other one. Let me make it bigger for you. So there's my points. Graph as straight as possible. So where do we cross the y-axis? -1. So that's our y-intercept. And then what is our slope? How far do we go down? How far do we run? Now, because remember we went down, it's a negative. So -2/3. One more and then we get to the fun stuff. Then we're done with tables. We have a quiz on it next week. But next week we'll make up the quiz we missed yesterday. Huh?
I have a week to study.
Slope? Yeah, unless we have more time on Friday.
Right.
Friday we have our DNA testing.
DNA? What's that? That's
That computer test.
Wait.
All right. Number 4. Another fraction. So if I want to use the number I got, I could use the opposite of it. So a -4, 0, and +4. So that way, every time 4 fraction is going to be canceled. So it's 5/4 times -4/1. Remember your 4's cancel, but that's still a negative. So is it going to be a positive or -5?
Negative.
Negative because one of them are negative. So it's a -5. So that's your first point. Anything times 0 is,
0.
so that one's a super easy one right there. We just get 0. That's your origin. So our y-axis, or y-intercept, is crossing at our origin. If you're not adding or subtracting anything, if you use opposite numbers, you're going to get the opposite answer. So we get a +5. So 4, 5. And then we just plot those 3 points. You make your straight line, find your slope, and your y-intercept. All right, so -4, -5, my origin. So that tells me why y-intercept 0. And then 4, 5. And make my line. It's more fun with the noise. So now we gotta find our slope. How far do we go up? How far do we go over? 5/4. So is it 4/5 or 5/4? 5/4. Now, if you look at our equation, do you see that in our equation anywhere? Yeah. Look at number 3. Is your slope in your equation? What was your slope in number 3? Yeah. -2/3. Do you see that in our equation? What about for number 2? Is there a -1 in our equation? Technically, it's just hidden. And number 1, is there a 2 in our equation? Yep. All you need is an equation in slope-intercept form, and you can graph it. So let me show you the easy way, because you're not going to walk around with tables in your pockets. So flip over. Y equals mx plus b. M is our slope. What are our words for slope?
Rise over run.
Rise over run. Okay. The number we are adding or subtracting is our y-intercept. So there are 3 easy steps to be able to do this. First, identify your y-intercept and your slope. Okay, so when we go, after we do that, we can plot the y-intercept. So plot the y-intercept. We're going to solve number 5 with the steps. So which one is my y-intercept? Is it the 2/3 or is it 2? It's our 2. So b equals 2. That tells me right there is my first part. Second step, move by the slope. Whatever your slope tells you is how you move. Whether it's up or down, and always run to the right. When do we go down? How do I know to go down?
It's negative.
Because it's negative. If it's negative, you go down. If it's positive, you go up. So my slope, my m, is 2/3. So I go up 2/3 from the point I just plotted. All right, so go up 2/3, put a dot. Up 2/3, put a dot. And then you can use your rulers to make your line. And that is all you have to do. Add your arrows. So instead of going through all the work of making a table, we plot a point and we move how the line tells us to make it easier. If you had me last year, this might look familiar, depending where we were at that time of year. Oops, I forgot to say make the line. That's our third step, make the line. Okay. All right, number 6. You need to rewrite y equals mx plus b. Y-intercept is always b, slope is always m. Okay, b, m. So what is my y-intercept? Nope. What are we adding? We're adding 4. So that tells me to start here. And then my slope, it's a negative. So instead of going up, we go down and then run 3. Does that make somewhat sense? All right. Can you scroll up? I see a lot of people trying to look over people's heads. So down 2/3, put a dot. Down 2/3, put a dot. Once you have at least 3 dots, you can make a line with your ruler. So I don't have a ruler. I'm estimating where my line begins across. I think for freehand, that's a pretty straight line. All right, one more I'm going to do with you, and then I'm going to have you try one on your own. Well, I'll help you set up 8, but then you're going to graph it on your own. Number 7, do we have any plus b? No, there's nothing. So what number equals nothing? 0. There is nothing here. B equals 0. So that's at your origin. Now slope with a whole number. M equals -3. What is under every whole number in the entire world? Well, no. So you will go down 3 and run 1. So down 3/1. Down 3/1. Maybe about there. It should be about there. I'm going to use red this time. And we have a negative slope. Questions on that one? All right, number 8. There is one thing different about this one that we haven't covered yet. See how it says -2? That affects our y-intercept. Whatever symbol is in front of it tells you whether it's positive or negative. So B is a negative 2. M is a negative 1/2. Now with that information, see if you can make your graph. Go down 1, 1, 2, always run right. Okay. So we know it's negative, but then we always run to the right. All right. Let's see. We start here. Now from that point, go down 1 and right 2. Give me a thumbs up if you had the correct line. So I know who's going to probably do well on our. And I can keep going. There is a way to work backwards. I don't want to confuse you. So. Alrighty. Once you have that, I would leave this out, especially the back side, to help you on the exit ticket. The exit ticket is IXL W5E. They're going to give you a graph and an equation. So that's what you're working on next. Okay, if you need to move to charge, that's fine too. Okay. All right, let me hit my step.